Awesome. Thanks so much, Naya. Rob, you ready, man?
What up, dog? How y'all doing?
Yeah, yeah. That was awesome by Demond Pryor, a mentor of mine. We are alum of the same university, Central Michigan University. Austin P State is represented up in here very well as well. So let's go P and fire up chips. But me and my boy Rob, we're gonna talk to y'all about reimagining leadership, something that we are passionate about and something that we believe that we need to do as leaders as well, so we can stay fresh, relevant, and keep our leadership style from going stale. So we're gonna rock out like this for a little bit, real quick. So a little bit about us. This is how we're gonna navigate today's conversation and the discussion. We're gonna learn about the outcomes of what we hope you take away from this presentation, the significance and importance of the title and the category and well, the subject that we're talking about today. We're going to define some key terms for you, just like everyone else has. And then we're going to allow you to engage in an action step that we believe will be very powerful for you to continue to reimagine leadership and then also evolve as leaders. And then we're going to wrap it up and then open up the floor for questions. Just like Demond, y'all can tell he was a preacher. But just like on Sunday morning, we won't be before you long, as long as you engage with us and hang out with us for a little bit. So here it is. I'm gonna introduce myself first, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Rob, and I'm gonna come back in and wrap us up really quick. But my name is Dexter Shorter, and I serve as an associate director for programs at Penn State University. What I want you all to know about me is that I'm a father, I'm a loving husband, I'm an educator, and I love to speak and present. Some fun things about me is that I'm enjoying vacation, or I enjoy vacations to warm places with my family. I'm actually on vacation right now. A little bit, well, not necessarily on vacation right now, but we are enjoying some time with the family. And then I play songs on 3 instruments. And then also I know a pretty slick card trick from What Up Though USA. Love Detroit. My mom is on the line. What's up, Mom? Shout out to my mom. And I'm gonna turn it over to Rob really quick so he can introduce himself as well.
Cool. Well, once again, I want to say thank you first off for this opportunity, and I'm so excited to be here with you all. And again, this is a conversation. If you all have questions or you have anything, please feel free to chime in. Again, my name is Dr. Rob as of May 15th. All right, that was a 7.5-year process. Praise the name of the Lord. Okay. So glad to be here with you all. And again, some of the things here for me: father, husband, mentor, educator, practitioner. My current role I serve in as the Assistant Athletics Director at Appalachian State University for Student Athlete Development. It's a mouthful and it's a lot of things. And what I tell everybody when I do my recruiting pitch, title schmitle, my job, my role that I've been blessed with and fortunate enough to do is to walk through life with student athletes on a day-to-day basis. All right. And so the next thing, a couple of quick facts about myself. Played college football. We're fortunate enough to win 2 Division II national championships at Grand Valley State University. Shouts out to all my D2 people. First generation college student. That one's major for me just because I wanted to go to the highest of heights as the first one doing it. Not only for myself, my family, but also for my 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. So they can never say I don't know anyone or I've never seen it modeled. And so I wanted to be the first one. Is also make my mom proud as well. And then a fun fact, I don't know if anybody else on the line, but I've lived in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It ain't much out there. All right, we can move on from that. Cool. And so myself and Dexter, this is kind of where our origin started. Again, we both grew up probably about 5 miles away from each other. Grew up family friends. This picture right here is a great indication of kind of where everything started for us. That's me up in the top left, Dexter in the bottom right. A fun fact about this is I never received a helmet. All right, so I was trash early on in football. However, it did turn around, as you see the little clip there to the right. We both had a great high school career as well. Went on to play college.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
I'm about to say, hey, Coop, Eastside Falcons, man. What's up? I'm just letting you know. Me and Rob, we heavy hitters.
I just want
to say, Eastside Saints all day, every day.
I would just like to note again, I did not hit anybody, nor did I ever practice or receive a helmet. But I will support my boy Dexter.
Absolutely. I just want to jump in really quick, Rob, and just kind of really emphasize this a little bit more. We were from childhood friends, and we still are friends today. We're brothers, right? We went to high school together. We have doctorates together. We 2 doctors from Detroit. We have kids. Even I believe our oldest kid have the same birthday.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. Like, that's how close we are, and we just pushed each other through our career and our lives and things like that, and our education aspirations. So just really just excited to present with my boy Rob. First time of us doing this together, but it won't be the last. So I'll turn it back over to Rob.
Yep. All right. So getting into it, here's our plan for as we move forward, and kind of some of the different things that we're going to talk about. And again, I'm going to talk and talk from my heart, as well as from what I do, as well as my experiences, to help hopefully empower or encourage some of us as we go through our day-to-day lives, not only in our jobs, but also in our day-to-day lives as brothers, sisters, parents, moms, wives, or husbands. And so the first one is to identify ways to stay relevant with our leadership style, right? I think we all can identify or point to or think of a leader who just is not relevant any longer, right? They're stuck in their ways. They're stuck in what used to be. They can't get with the new times. They can't transition. They can't evolve into what today's times is. And then we can also think of some other leaders who have evolved probably faster or more efficiently than a lot of different people. And currently in my field in athletics, I deal with coaches every day, right? And so some of the coaches have evolved. You usually got the younger coaches who are more hip to dropping in the DMs or, tweeting out somebody and atting them. And then you also have some who are still like sending emails or trying to get through on a phone call, right? And not understanding the landscape of communication with this younger generation and getting with the newer times and saying, well, back in my day, right? One of the biggest things that I can't stand now is back in my day, right? We have some coaches and we have some administrators, not just here, but anywhere, who are stuck back in their day and they can't move past their day. Not only is that with profession, but that's also with our leadership style in our homes, right? A lot of coaches now say, back in my day, if you would have did X, Y, and Z, you would have got ripped out, you would have got cussed out, you would have got X, Y, and Z. But that isn't the time now, right? And so if we can't get with the times and we can't evolve with our leadership, we will get left up and we will get passed up because our stagnation will leave us in neutral while everybody else is in drive. And so that's identifying your ways to stay relevant within your leadership style, right? And 2, design a unique action steps to continue to evolve as a leader.
Nashville, right? 3 or 4, and it'll be
life waits for no one, right? Time will go on, whether we're active or whether we're passive. Time waits for no man, and time is undefeated. So as life changes, we must also change and our circumstances evolve. So one of the things Heraclitus said, as an ancient Greek philosopher, nothing is permanent except for change. And so if we understand that concept and we grasp the meaning behind that, we'll understand in order for us to stay relevant, in order for us to stay up to date, in order for us to stay in our lanes and excelling, we must adapt and we must change as time evolves as well. And then when you look at developing a personal roadmap that can prepare you for advancement, I think that's one of the things we're all looking to do. All of us in our careers, we're looking to advance. My man just talked about doing it for the money. We all looking to get to that coin, right? We love what we do, but we also like to be compensated as well as much as we can for what we do. And so one of the biggest things there is that you want to model what you wish to see. And one of the experiences that I pull from there, so for me as coming up in the athletics realm, I was a graduate assistant, right? And so as a graduate assistant, a lot of the things you had to do was what they call the grunt work or you had to stay in the trenches for doing the things that nobody else really wanted to do, the BS work, as they would call it. And so I had a recent graduate assistant who had moved to a full-time coach, and his experience as a graduate assistant was one that was terrible, right? He was dog cussed, he was treated like nothing, and he was told and shown to do everything without any sort of recognition or thanks. And so for him, he modeled that practice once he moved into a role of leadership. And so now I'm up under him, and now his leadership style from what he was given, he began to model, right? And so for me as the follower and as the worker, that wasn't something that I enjoyed, and it always brought us to butting heads because what he was and what he was doing wasn't something that I thought that should be modeled. In my head, it was like, if you didn't like how you were treated, why would you go and treat the next generation or the next up and comer as such, right? And so once I now got that experience, by the grace of God, we had another coach, and that coach came in with a different modeling practice. And so then his modeling practice was then shown, and it was then watered down and given to the other assistant coaches. And then his attitude and his leadership style changed and become one more of appreciation as well as understanding because he had gone through it. And so one of the foundational components of leadership that I believe is character, right? Your character is what they say your reputation precedes you. I like to change it and say your character precedes you. Who you are and what you represent will always lead before you ever walk into a room, right? And so for me, one of the great mentors that I have listening to his videos online and seeing videos is Miles Monroe. And he talks about leadership and character. And he says, true leadership is not about control. It's about service. I think we all are at our best when we're serving others because we find joy in giving others that joy, right? There are studies and there are research that talk about your emotional wellness and how when focusing on someone else's joy brings you more joy because you can remove yourself from your own day-to-day iniquities or doubts or negative mindset, and you can get into learning and helping out another person. And true leadership is also not about power. It's about empowerment, right? So those who have chosen to follow us in our leadership roles, it's our duty to empower them, to help them get to wherever they want to get to help lead them, to help guide them, and to help educate them on the processes to get where they want to be. All right, and then here we go, reimagining leadership. The significance here, right, is change is inevitable. We talked about it before, and one of the biggest things is like you have to be able to change. Even if you look at if anybody has children, the parenting styles, right? Everybody got to have a little governor on how you treat your kids out in public, or CPS will be called right away. As well as I remember as a kid, I didn't even know what a car seat was, nor a seatbelt. But however, times have changed, and if you don't got your baby in a car seat now, there will be a consequence and a repercussion, right? And so change is inevitable. So understanding that and continuing to research and evolve your understanding, your knowledge, and your leadership, right? And then people need us. I think everybody is in a role that they're in because the people need what you can offer, right? And as leaders, we don't seek followers, right? Followers follow leaders because of the fruit in which you have and that they want and wish to gain, right? And so people will begin to follow you once they receive something of significance for their own lives. How you impact them, how you affect them, how you treat them, just like a man just got done talking about, how you create that environment, they'll now begin to become more comfortable. And in my role here, one of my biggest blessings and one of the biggest things that I try to do is I try to make my office a safe space. One of the biggest compliments that I can get from any student athlete is to be able to walk into my office and fall asleep in my chair, because now I've created an environment to where you feel comfortable enough to become your most vulnerable state and fall asleep, right? And then leadership does not begin with people. It begins with us, right? It begins with you. True leadership is self-discovery. Once you discover who yourself is, once you discover what your gift is and your purpose is, then you will become a leader in that area of your gifting. And then also true leadership is being authentic. Damon just talked about authentic leadership and knowing who you are. Just like he talked about regular student population looking and seeing through all the BS, student athletes will call you out on it right on the spot. And the minute you lose that, you'll lose the trust and you'll also lose them. And so then the importance is to be active in your own progression. Continue to develop yourself through learning, reading, researching. And one of the biggest keys I believe in is mentorship, finding somebody who does what you do and how you want to do it, and allowing them to pour into your life in a way that which you can elevate and become that leader as well. And then challenge your stagnant behavior. Don't get complacent and comfortable in our roles and what we do, all right? Keep on learning, keep on growing. And again, Lashika Thomas, she just had a session on empowering and encouraging ourselves, right? Our success first starts with us understanding and knowing who we are. So those affirmations in the morning, those affirmations when we talk about we're down in the rut or something, those things matter because we need to keep ourselves uplifted as soon as we can and as much as we can as we continue to grow. Then one more. And then imagination, right? So I'm a man of faith. It says the faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses, right? In my mind, that sounds like faith to me, right? So one of the passages I want to just read really quickly is Romans 12:2-3. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So as we begin to be leaders, we have to begin to renew our minds and how we want to see and what we see, so that as we begin to create that leadership in that environment, we can then magnetize those things to us that will get us to where we want to be. And then one of the last things I'll say is one of the misconceptions of leadership, again, is leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. Leaders are pursuing a passion for the purpose that gives them a sense of destiny. And then leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration motivated by passion, generated by vision, produced by a conviction, and then ignited for a purpose.
Love it, Rob. Appreciate it, man. So again, just continuing to go into the definitions of the both words that are connected to our subject. And then I'm gonna define leadership really quick. As you can read on the screen, it is the ability of an individual or a group of people to influence or guide those who they are leading in regards to members of an organization, society, or a team. The biggest thing that we want you to take away from this definition is that leadership is not a position, it's a behavior. It is a group of characteristics that you should show each and every day that you show up to serve the people, the stakeholders that are in your life. Leadership is not just something that is accomplished by just going after a certain level. Leadership, you can lead right from where you are, as long as you have the characteristics and the behavior to go along with what you're doing. You will be able to lead effectively. All right. So let's go on to a question that we have for you. We want to know kind of what's going on in your mind. As you just saw, Rob kind of alluded to, he is a man of faith and so am I. And that verse really resonates with us in regards to be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. If that doesn't resonate with you, we used to sing a song at church that I woke up this morning with my mind, right? If you are a part of athletics, it says mind over matter. So all these things that we've been taught for our entire lives in regards to how powerful the mind is, we need to activate in that space and make sure that we are renewing our mind so that we can remain relevant in our leadership positions. So what I want to want you to do is engage in the chat in regards to what's going on in your mind. We have sat through many presentations already thus far in regards to encouraging yourself, right? Speaking positively in regards to who you are and what you're all about, right? Positive words of affirmation. So my question to you is also, what is your vision for yourself? I submit to you that your mind is a personal movie theater for your life. Leadership is a mindset. Success is a mindset. All these things that we want to materialize in reality, it starts as a thought first, right? The way that you think is typically connected to the direction that you're going, right? I submit to you also that your next whatever, fill in the blank, is based on your ability to believe or think about it. So whatever the blank is for you, blessing, your next promotion, your next advancement, your next progressive opportunity, that is based on your ability for you to see yourself in those positions, your next leadership level that you want to reach in regards to you showing up different for the students that you serve with and for the colleagues that you serve with. That's based on your ability to reimagine yourself in that position. So the action step, again, going back to our learning outcomes that we want you to do, is develop a healthy discipline of positively shaping your thoughts and what you believe that is going to happen in your life. I know we're talking about professions and leaderships in regards to our schools and the institutions that we serve in, but this is a lifestyle that me and Rob live. We call each other every morning, and he reads a devotional with us and or to us or for us in regards to the start of our morning. We just sit there and thought in regards to how can we show up better for us to remain relevant and connected to the people that we're serving in order for us to be effective and efficient leaders. So again, the question of the day is, what's going on in your mind? I hope some positive thoughts, thousands of thoughts, tens of thousands of thoughts go through your mind each and every day. Why not make them positive all the time, right? Put away that critic, right? It's okay to critique yourself in regards to getting better, but at the same time, encourage yourself in these spaces really quick. Here are the action steps we want to leave you, and we wrapping up very quickly. We think that the reimagining of leadership involves at least two components. This is not the end all be all. This is not an exhaustive list. But at the same time, we want to encourage you that we want you to reimagine yourself and basically be multidimensional in your leadership, right? Old school, think about this. 2000, the year 2000 was 20 years ago. What worked back then probably is not relevant now. There are some stale things that we are probably still trying to practice that won't work, right? So therefore, like you see the 6 things that I have or that we have under being multidimensional, right? We want you to educate the students very well, right? Train them hard, but to layer that, we want you to treat them well as well, right? That has to do with culture. People are they are seeking a culture in which they can thrive in. You just heard Damon say a sense of belonging, and then I typed in actually he said a sense of home, but can be coupled with a sense of belonging as well. So when they are spending 8 to 10 hours a day with us, why not have this environment where they feel respected, they feel like they're heard, they're being treated well, right? Within our communication, the way that we interact with the people that we serve. We can be direct. People love to say, I like direct communication. I'm not sure we really like that, because sometimes our directness is a little bit ratchet, right? We're from Detroit. We can use words like that. But how about you be direct, plus tactful, plus respectful, and professional, right? It's a multi-layered approach in regards to how you speak into one another. Like you can be direct, but tactful means making a point without making an enemy. Right? We're not trying to go here and go to war, right? And basically just try to beat each other up. But at the same time, be respectful. And I think that should be a non-negotiable for you, right? You're not going to put yourself in position to be respected, but also don't put yourself in position to be disrespectful, right? So another one is sign up and show up, right? Play the role, but also be active in it. Like don't just have the title of teacher, athletic director, principal, associate director, and not display the characteristics that go along with that title. Follow up and follow through. If you stink at something, like if you want to get better at something, how I came up with this theme in my professional life is because I really struggled with basically my emails. So therefore, I committed to following up, responding to the email, and following through in regards to what they were expecting me to do, right? So again, it's layered, be accessible, visible, and approachable, right? You just heard Rob just say his door is open for students to come in and speak to him and connect with him in a different way, right? At the same time, I challenge him and I to also have that open door policy for it to be mobile. So therefore, we got to get out and go to where the students are and go to where our colleagues are as well in regards to being accessible, visible, and approachable. You just heard Reverend Pryor talk about support. And that's the show up part that Rob and I really try to practice each and every day of our lives. And we also heard the first two terms in this last bullet point, intent versus impact. Also, I want to add influence, right? Because we know what those three words mean, but at the same time, I have to recognize the influence that we have within our positions. Now, as we coming up to a close really quick, be transgenerational in regards to your leadership style. Remain relevant. Listen to the people that you're serving. Within listening, you can serve better, right? Learn from them in regards to what motivates them, and allow them to teach you exactly what they need. And then also appreciate them. I know the word love may be a little bit sensitive, or maybe we shouldn't use it in our profession because it may be a little bit dangerous, but at least appreciate them and thank them for what they're doing. Ultimately, here's the bottom line. What got you here may not be what gets you there.
Mm-hmm.
What got you to where you are may not be the same thing that gets you to where you want to be. So think about switching it up. Not necessarily, when Rob and Dex ain't talking about to change you, we're talking about reimagining and bettering you. It is important for us to challenge ourselves to continue to be involved. And like I said at the beginning, to be active in your own progression. We love this picture, of course, you know, regardless of what political side you fall on, but just capture this picture really quick in your mind. Like, what does this mean? You see former President Barack Obama at a desk reading, he on the phone, and look at the bottom of his shoes. He's talking about the senior officer in our country. I mean, literally mobilizing himself in order to get to where he wants to be. I'm not sure if every one of our presidents did that, but at the same time, look at exactly what this picture is telling us in regards to remaining active in our own progression. Blow up the chat however you want, and basically engage with us really quick, but at the same time, really caption this in regards to what this means to you. Okay, we only got a couple minutes, so I want to open up the line for before we close here really second. But here's the wrap up. Here's the outro of it. Simply put, a quote by Steve Bartlett. It says, "There is no self-development without self-awareness." You can read, you can study, you can get as many degrees as you want. Trust me, I got 4 of them. Thank God. Rob got 3. You got 3, right? But if you are unable to read yourself, look at yourself in the mirror. They make songs about this. Michael Jackson. I'm gonna make a change for the rest of my. Remember that, Man in the Mirror? You'll never learn, and you'll never learn a thing. And for us to be able to change, we need to look at ourselves first. And also, I believe it was Chris Gardner said this. He says, "Speak what you seek until you see what you said." Be mindful of these things. I'm Dr. Dex, Dr. Rob. We thank you for your leadership. Our contact information is listed on the screen there. We'll open up the floor for any questions that you may have.
No questions, no questions. Give it up, give it up.
Yeah,
Do
appreciate it. Any comments, any concerns, any confessions, anything?
Yeah, anything anyone wants to share, feel free to come off mute now and share that with us or throw it in the chat. Thank you, 2 doctors. Thank y'all for sharing wisdom with us, man. That was a lot of good stuff. Thank you so much for that. Again, we got a couple seconds. If anyone wants to share or drop something in the chat before we move into our next presentation.
I'd like to say something. My name is Alicia Bruce. I'm the mother of Robert Carlisle. And I'm very proud of him and Dexter and the accomplishments that they've made. I watched they growed up, and I'm just happy. And today really made me proud. And you guys did a job well done.
Oh,
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Auntie.
I get you. You give me the cry on this boy.
Camera off.